We told you at the top of the show about the civil war brewing among Democrats. The left not satisfied with President Joe Biden's leadership. His own party wants a progressive primary challenger. One person whose name's being floated, Marianne Williamson. She ran for the nomination last time, debated Biden, and captured our attention.
My first call is to Prime Minister of New Zealand, who said that her goal is to make New Zealand the place where it's the best place in the world for a child to grow up. And I will tell her girlfriend you are so on, because the United States of America is going to be the best place in the world for a child to grow up. I'm going to harness love for political purposes. I will meet you on that field, and sir, love will win.
Marianne Williamson joins me now. All right, so Marianne, are you considering primarying President Joe Biden?
No, like many, many people, I'm thinking very deeply about what's going on in this country. And I realize that the horse race is not the conversation that most matters. You know, to listen to Fox, to listen to CNN, to listen to MSNBC, it's all about left versus right, isn't it? But I don't think that that's the real political divide that most matters in this country. I think that's kind of a cartoonish version of the political divide in this country that makes billions of dollars for political forces and media forces. The real political divide in this country, Jesse, is between the powerful and the powerless. And the powerful few are headquartered in both major political parties. It is the corporate-backed forces, whether it's big pharmaceutical companies, big oil companies, military defense contractors, et cetera, that are obstructing the financial well-being and the greater economic and professional and just personal opportunities of the American people. That's what concerns me.
I would agree with that there's definitely
office,
a big guy versus little guy scenario, and that's always been the case, and that's something this country has to address. In your opinion, as a progressive Democrat, if you still label yourself like that, where do you think President Joe Biden's biggest failures have been so far in year one?
Not pushing back. The biggest failures of Joe Biden, to me, are the same as the biggest failures of Donald Trump and Barack Obama and every president in modern history, which is a refusal to take on in any fundamental way the dominance of these corporate forces. I mean, if you look at the actual economic opportunities of the average American, have they really been that different no matter who? Now, what this president could do, he could invoke a medical emergency. He could therefore expand Medicare. He could override these vaccine patents so that poor countries could develop them. He could cancel the college loan. He could do so much. He could free Assange. He could decriminalize marijuana. There are so many things that could be done with the power of the presidency. But what has happened is that the presidency itself is such a partisan thing. The presidency, no matter whether it's a Republican or a Democrat, should stand unequivocally, the president should stand unequivocally for the rights and the security and the well-being of the American people.
One of the things that you talked about
left versus right
a lot in the debates was harnessing the power of love. How would you harness love if you were president right now in 2022?
Well, you know, Lincoln talked about the angels of our better nature, the better angels of our nature. Americans are people. We've got really wonderful things about us, and we've got some things about us, you know, we're just human beings. And some people in this country harness anger, harness bigotry, harness racism, harness some of the worst aspects of the American character. And what we need is a president, what we need is all of our leaders to harness the nobility and the intelligence and the decency and the dignity of the American people. And I think too often politicians on both sides of the aisle speak to the American people like we're not as smart as we are.
Oh, that's for sure.
And also continue to foster this left-right divide rather than really speaking to what is most deeply wrong in this country and how we can work together to fix it. You know, Eisenhower was a Republican president, and he said that the American mind at its best is both liberal and conservative. Okay. There could be a lot more cooperation.
Okay. Well, the liberal part of my mind is very little. It's a lot of conservative.
The what part of your mind is very little? Wait, the what part of your mind is very little?
The liberal part. But that's okay. As long as there's a little bit there.
And that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
But, Jesse,
Marianne,
our fellow citizens are not our enemies.
I got to go.
The fact that, okay.
And
thank you.
And thank you
for
for coming on Water's World.